for fermentation. So coming to fruiting, if you plant a grafted plant and budded plant, it will yield from the second year onwards. When you planted a seedling, fourth year onwards, you will get fruits. And if you are managing well, the cocoa will show yield throughout the year with the proper management. So as I told, the quality of final produce depend upon the type of cocoa what we are planting. Then the fermentation method. Before chocolate making, we should know the primary fermentation method. Then the environment. All will decide the quality of the produce. Coming to the cocoa types, we have three basic types. One is called Criollo, second is Forastero, and third one is Trinitario. Criollo is red in color and the beans will be white in color. For fermentation, they will take only less time, but they are highly susceptible to pests and diseases. And coming to next one, it is Forastero. That is green in color, it will ripe to yellow color. But the beans are purple in color and we have more beans in them and it will take around 6 days for fermentation. And coming to the third type, Trinitario, it is a mixture. It is a natural hybrid of Criollo and Forastero. It will have both the characters. So in the world now, 70 to 90% of total population belongs to Forasteros and Trinitarios, which give the total quantum of produce for the chocolate making. So Criollos have some specific flavors. So they are used for some specific chocolates. But unfortunately, they are susceptible to a lot of pest and disease. So we can concentrate on only the Forasteros and Trinitarios now. Then coming to the stage of maturity. So if you harvesting also it is very important. If you harvest a green pod, it won't good for chocolate making. If you harvest the overripe pod, yellow pod, that seeds will germinate inside only. So the correct stage of maturity. When the green color pod light turning to yellow, you can harvest the pod. And when the red pod is turning light red to orange color, you can harvest the pod. So the stage of harvest is also very important for good processing. Then coming to the harvesting, you shouldn't pull the pods from the trees. We should carefully harvest with a sharp knife. So that because again the next season fruits will come in the stem. So you should harvest at the correct stage and very carefully with a sharp knife. Then after harvest, now we can keep it for 3 days in shade for pre-fermentation. Inside itself, that mucilage will enhances the fermentation activity. In the shade, you can keep for 3 days, which will give additional fermentation, the temperature to help in rise in temperature. And if Indian beans, if you see, we have little acidity. In Kerala, Karnataka, if you see, high rainfall zone. So the beans will be naturally having some acidic nature. So that pre-fermentation activity will reduce the acidity. After that, we are opening the pots. So when we are opening the pots, you should be very careful with the wooden hammer. Wooden hammers you can use and break the pod without damaging the beans. If you are using knife, you should be careful without damaging the beans because we need full whole beans with the mucilage. The juice is very important. And husk and placenta you can remove. Only the wet beans with the mucilage you have to go for fermentation. So coming to the fermentation, this is a very crucial part. Before that, cultivation is one part, and again the fermentation is very crucial for the for getting the dry beans finally. So we are following 3 small scale fermentation methods. So we are now talking about homemade chocolates. So we are doing now farm level, home level, primary processing. For this, we are using 3 methods. First one, if you see, is a small box having 45 centimeter length, 30 centimeter width and 20 centimeter height with drain holes. If you see here, some drain holes are there because the mucilage will sweat after 2 days and it will drain through the aluminum tray. So we have to fill this box. It will hold around 13 to 15 kg wet beans. And this is this box will cost around 1,000 rupees. It is locally made. Any wood is okay. It is locally made and 1,000 rupees. And you have to fill the box with the beans, and you have to cover. So you cover with the lid so that the heat will improve inside. Inside you should feel the heat. It should be anaerobic fermentation. The biochemical changes then only will happen. Because of heat only, fungal infection will be less. Because Kerala, Karnataka, if you see, our main cocoa harvest season is monsoon. So we will get a lot of fungal infection. So we have to properly cover, and over that we have to cover with a gunny bag. And 6 days it will take. Alternate days you can open and mix it up. When you mix, you can feel the heat. When you put your hand inside, you can feel the heat. And first time when you are doing, you can check whether you want frequent turning, frequent mixing, or once in 3 days is enough, like that you have to check. Next one is basket method. Next one, basket. This is also not very costly. This is 100 to 250 rupees. It is a locally available. It is prepared from a locally available wines. Forest wines only they are preparing. It is also very cheaper. When the quantity is less, when you are getting 5 to 6 kg wet beans, you can use this baskets. In Africa also, you can see they all are using this type of baskets only. Here also some drain holes is automatically there, but even then you can put some banana leaves at the bottom to drain the sweating very slowly and uniformly. Then if banana leaves are not available also, it is okay, no problem. But you can put one banana leaf bottom side and fill the
Yeah, now it is fine.
Okay, thank you. So in this mini basket method, 5 to 6 kg beans you can keep. After keeping, after filling it, or below, we can keep a banana leaf to drain the sweating slowly. Because once you completely fill and close, there is a lid also, close it, and we can give some weight for keeping the bean intact, or keeping a beans in tightly, so that the heat will be generating more. Then as soon as the heat develops, yeast, and there will be so many reactions inside, yeast will act. Same case with the alcoholic fermentation happen after a day or 1 or 2. Then completely this sweat, or all sweat is actually the pulp or the surrounding bean surrounding white mucilage. That is when it is draining, that is known as sweating. So this will complete within 3 to 5 days. And you have to turn within after a second day, you can turn it, so uniform heating happen, and you can keep it tightly closely in the closed condition. Then there are tray methods also. A similar way we can keep in tray, and below some drainage provision also should be given. But in the case here, the fungal infection is less in these trays and easy to wash for the next usage. And factories such as Camco, they have to deal with so many beans or pods. So they are using multiple or wooden boxes in a reaper, or multiple trays they can use if you have a higher capacity. So generally the fermentation ranges between 3 to a maximum of 7 days. So how to judge whether it is completely fermented? So first symptom is you can see the completely the sweat will be drained out, only bean will be there. And when there is a test, you can cut open the some of the beans, and we can see some reddish liquid inside, and the beans will be brownish in color. Around 7 days maximum, it will take 7 days only. So when the when it gets fermented, completely fermented beans will be around 56 to 69% moisture, and after fermentation we have to dry. Generally sun drying is done. There are mechanical dryers also. Then comes to the dried, end of drying. How we can judge it is completely dried? So we can similar way, there is a cut test. As a standard, some 300 nuts should be taken. When you cut, it should be completely fully fermented bean, or fully dried, fermented and drained bean will be brownish in color, and some poor quality will be purple or salty, or these kind of beans will be there. That and all, it is generally 20%, in a lot around 20% of the purple beans are accepted. But if we get we can judge our quality of bean by cutting open and seeing the inside kernel. Once after drying, the percentage of moisture will be around 6 to 7%. And bean size, generally it will vary around 1 gram per bean. So now you have fermented dried beans. Now your aim should be, so as a farmer you will get harvested bean, then you have to do the primary processing like fermentation and drying. Then we have to go to the secondary level processing. In secondary level processing, there are steps such as secondary level processing. You can also divide into two groups. Like we can make butter, like copra we are expelling and making oil. Similar way, we can make cocoa butter and cocoa powder out of this bean. Then we can make some chocolate out of this also. So 3 ways we can utilize the bean. If you are a farmer, if you want to set up or you have to earn much more price or earnings, you can make this kind of small scale processing to get better product. So the steps are, where once the fermented dried bean you get, you have to roast it. Roasting means around 130 degree. It varies around 110 to 160 degrees Celsius. We have to roast under good controlled air also should be there. So the inside bean is there and shell are there. So these are very intactly placed. This will after roasting, this will be get loosened. And roasting has a specific role because while roasting only specific chocolate flavor will develop. So after roasting, we have to remove the shell. That is winnowing. After removing the shell, the broken beans, or we used to say that nib or kernel, that nib you have to grind it, so it will get into paste. Even in when you see so many industry YouTubes are available on grinding and making into butter and powder, so it will be thick paste just like our normal grinder, because cocoa bean contain around 57 to 60% fat. So as such, when you grind, there is no need of adding any water. It will grind into a thick paste. And when we collect the paste in a gunny cloth and you expel it like copra, we'll get cocoa butter. So that is the second way, liquefying, pressing. When you press in a hydraulic press, you get a butter, and the if suppose we are considering like coconut, that cake will be there. No, similar way, after extracting butter, some residues will be left. That residue you can again powder it. That is the cocoa powder which is available in any retail shop or any confectionery we used to buy. No, cocoa powder. That is a low fat residue. So these are the two products. Then either you can take the grinded mix and add sugar, then you can grind it for long, that is a quenching, then refining, tempering, then we can mold. That's the way how generally chocolates are made. Otherwise, you can take butter, you can take powder, you mix with the sugar or milk powder. That way also we can make chocolate. So there are two concepts generally. When you I'll come to that. When you see the major brands, the nutritional or the ingredient list, you can find out whether it is made from cocoa bean or made from cocoa butter and cocoa powder. And there comes to the now come to the chocolate stage. Generally in bakery shops and all, we get a it's known as compound. That compound chocolate will melt it and make some filling, and it will be beautifully served. So these are the two things. As a small scale entrepreneur, we can purchase. If you don't have cocoa bean, we can purchase compound, and there's one more term as couverture. These are in every chocolate main factories like Camco, you get this compound as well as couverture. From there, the compound is nothing but that with the cocoa powder and cocoa butter, some vegetable fat and sugar may be mixed. So it is made into block. This block we can melt it and use it in filling cakes and all. Okay, the couverture means that is more expensive, that contain mainly full of cocoa butter and that cocoa mass, the grinded mass, it will be made into block. So it is easy for use. Those who are not having any grinding facility, they can use or they have a confectionery outlet, means they can use couverture to make chocolate and chocolate fillings. Then come to direct chocolate making. So we are focusing on bean to bar. Like if you have a cocoa, some cocoa plants or cocoa field area, you can harvest in the farm level, and we can process at our farm itself, not selling the bean outside. So that's the concept of bean to bar. It is healthiest compared to normal chocolate or any other thing, because this contain maximum polyphenol and health benefiting factors. So the concept of bean to bar is you harvest the pods, you ferment it in your farm level, you dry it, then you roast it. Roasting, any kind of indirect heating you can use. There are so many machinery available now, roasters are there. Then crack and winnowing means the shell removal, then grind it. The concept is exactly our idli grinder. Then you can temper it. Tempering, I'll come to the details of tempering. Then we can mold it and make chocolate. So we have the dried bean now. It's our these photos are taken during our EDP program, because we have a small chocolate unit here. We used to give EDP trainings on bean to bar chocolate making, and we are focusing on dark chocolate because that is most healthiest form of chocolate. Yeah, this I think madam has skipped this one. And come to chocolate. There are mainly three categories: dark chocolate, white chocolate, and milk chocolate. Normal common brands are like Milky Bar. This is example for milk chocolate. White chocolate. It contains cocoa butter, sugar mainly, and milk powder. Milk chocolate example is normal. Our Cadbury dairy milks are all milk chocolate group, and there now Amul has dark chocolate, and there are several brands of dark chocolate. Dark chocolate will be more costlier. So when you see the ingredient list in whenever you purchase any kind of chocolate or any other product, you can first see the ingredient list so that you'll come to know exactly what we are eating. Generally, milk chocolate contains maximum proportion of sugar, then cocoa butter, cocoa mass. Cocoa mass means the grinded portion. Being grinded contain butter and powder. Then vegetable fat we can use. So this is the way milk chocolate is made. And white chocolate means it is mainly milk powder, cream, and some white chocolate proportion. Then dark chocolate means it is made from the cocoa mass. Cocoa mass means the grind paste. Bean paste and sugar. This is the thing only added in generally added in dark chocolate. That is why dark chocolate is more healthier. Yeah. So after once you get the dried beans, we can roast it. So this is a roaster what we have here. Apart from this, there are several brands or models available in India. So we have optimized the roasting condition exactly 130 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Because after roasting we have to loosen the shell. So this is the ideal condition for roasting. You even small scale you can use your microwave oven also. Then moisture content after roasting. After drying, the moisture content is around 6 to 7. Then after roasting, it will be less than 2%, because moisture content is the most critical thing in chocolate making. Then after roasting, it will be around 130 degree. So that we have to cool it to 40 degree. Then we have to shell it, shelling and winnowing. So we will get around 70 to 75% recovery. We have a breaker and a winnower. Then this is a broken nibs. Then what we have to do is we have to grind it. So generally the ideal grinding is a bed grinding like our idli grinder, but when we use idli grinder, for that after 2 hours the heat will generate, it will stuck. So there are specific chocolate grinders. Exactly the concept is idli grinder, but the motor is designed in such a way that the heat will withstand, or with it won't generate much heat. The motor will be working condition for a maximum of 48 hours. So minimum we have to grind the chocolate around 12 hours minimum condition. So this time we have to formulate how we are making chocolate. We can go ahead with 70% dark. There are some classification. You can check the website of Codex standard, FDA standards are there. Different area, different standards are there for dark chocolate. Minimum it should be 60% dark. 60% dark means in a 1 kg batch, 600 grams should be the cocoa bean or cocoa solids, and 400 grams is sugar. This is a basic way. You can add some emulsifiers, but this is the crude form, sugar and the bean proportion. 70% means 70 gram is the bean and 30 gram will be the sugar. So once it is grinded for 12 hours, we can go ahead for 48 hours. 48 hours when you grind, it will be very smooth. So thereafter, the next stage is the tempering. So tempering means we have to in the cocoa solid, cocoa butter has different crystal formation. So we have to give into different temperature shock. So that is exactly what meant by tempering. So when we grind it, it will be around 30 degrees Celsius. We have to cut down, first come into 27. The different fat crystal has different temperature range. So first we have to make it into 27. So in that purpose, we need a AC. In Kerala condition, definitely it will work on AC only. So this grinding room should have an AC. It will we have to make it into 27. This is the way manually we are doing here the tempering process to 27. Top will be AC fan will be there, so it will cool down to 27. After once it get to 27, we have to increase the temperature to 45. So for that we have a melter which work on water. It's a water bath concept only. So after making into 45, then we have to make it to 30. So what we have standard is 27, 45 and 30. So different temperature ranges, that is dependent upon different product, we can change the tempering temperature. Then after that we have to mold it and we can get the bean to bar chocolate. This is the way simply how chocolate is made. So comes to the normal brand. This is it's a major dark chocolate brand, Lind, with 100 gram of that chocolate cost around 450 to 750 range, and that is 70%. 70% means 70% of cocoa solid and 30% sugar, 85, 90. So 90 will be very highly bitter. So this is the proportion what it suggests: cocoa mass and sugar. Cocoa butter also we can use it, but altogether cocoa portion should be 70. So this is how we should play with the chocolate. And there are different flavors also. We can add some lavender, rose, and we are making here with coconut milk powder we are adding in chocolate. So that way we can further value add the chocolate. And now comes to when if somebody want to establish a unit, minimum level, how much one should spend. So around 3,80,000 minimum it should be spent if you want a perfect chocolate, because otherwise if you make in our own room condition, it will melt easily and there will be some problem like fat bloom, sugar bloom. After some time of storage, we'll get some if somebody is making chocolate, they can completely understand what I am saying. Some fat crystals will be formed on the top. That is because of the improper storage and improper temperature conditions and all. So we need a pod breaker. If you have a cocoa plot, you have first you have to break the pod, then ferment it, dry it, then roast it. Then we need a breaker come winnower, then chocolate grinders. This is for some 15 kg per week production. Then some miscellaneous instruments. Then we need a dehumidifier under Kerala condition, because ideal chocolate humidity condition is around 50%. So we should reduce the humidity of our atmosphere. Then we need an AC. So altogether around 3,80,000 is needed. So there are some marketing agencies like Camco. They are marketing chocolate in different brands names also. Then for support of cocoa, there is a DCCD, Directorate of Cashew Nut and Cocoa Development, Kochi based one, and Directorate of Aracanut and Spices Development, Kozhikode. Then coming to cocoa related research, we have at CPCRI, mainly we are in our regional station Vittal, and processing we can get help from Camco also. And development DCCD, we can if somebody want to establish unit, and DCCD in fact they are giving funding. So that's about in short about how to make chocolate, and I think whatever your queries we can answer.